Hey guys, it's Max. How's everyone doing? This is the episode Bone Up on Options with Max. Hey, I have bad news. Cy from Tap Alpha is not going to be on till tomorrow. He was going to be on today in about an hour, but he's going to be on tomorrow at 1 o'clock Central, 2 o'clock Eastern instead. So that's good. So join us then with your questions, hopefully. All right, so today we are going to talk about, I made a slide, but I didn't even know if it was worth it. How to hedge NVDA. They have earnings next Wednesday or Thursday, and how to hedge a market sell-off, or how to play both of these and still be able to take your wife to dinner, how to earn an income, how to do kind of what Jay's doing, or what a lot of these ETFs are doing, where they own options or they own the stock, but they're selling options and then paying an income. We're kind of learning how to do that on our own. I showed a trade for HIMS yesterday. Anyway, we'll look at that trade in a second. So the thing is, SPY looks like it's rolling over in the 30-minute time frame. It's probably nothing. I mean, and none of my volatility indicators are showing any type of stress whatsoever. Probably nothing. Just in case it is, there's a way to still make enough money to take your wife to dinner, but if it rolls over, you can make extra money. So we're going to look into that because it's all about earning that income. The income's the key, but it's about earning the income but not giving up too much upside. That's what I'm trying to show you how to do. Or in this case, downside, but it would be downside on the upside. If this is the top and the SPY goes down from here, you can make a little bit of money. All right. So we're going to look at the reverse max convexity. Now, we looked at the regular max convexity strategy yesterday. It's a three-legged risk reversal. This one's a three-legged reverse risk reversal. I don't even know what it is. It's fine. It doesn't even matter. And I haven't even built it yet because I'm trying to teach you guys option strat. Option strat is an incredibly powerful program, especially for the visual learners and for people that like to strategize and plan option strategies out, but especially if you think visually. But it doesn't have to show you visually. It also can output all the data just in a spreadsheet form. All right, so we're going to start. So on the SPY, we're going to start with a bear call spread, because this is a reverse max convexity, right? We got to flip her around the other way. So what we're going to do is we're going to sell calls to finance puts, okay? And we're going to do it just like the other way, but we're going to sell calls for slightly more than we buy our puts for. So then we're going to be able to take her to dinner, then spin her around, right? All right. So we need SPY. It could be any of them. You could do this on IWM for Russell. I love to trade IWM. Let's just do IWM. It's usually the strongest or the weakest. Let's just do IWM. Okay, you sell these just as far out as you can think you can get away with. When's the expiration? I want to go out till about Friday, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th. I just want to play a pullback through the end of the week. Maybe something like that, 5 points wide. All right. Hit this thing and it links the legs. We're going to do it 4 times to bring in $200. So we got enough money to take her to dinner, 224 actually, because we're going to buy something. We're going to buy a put before we take her to dinner. All right, and we're going to move this further out of the money, right to there. Okay, let's see what this. Okay, that's not enough income. It's only $16. That doesn't make it worth it. On $500 risk, that's not worth it. There's $40 on $500 risk. Here's $70 on $630 risk. Not only that, you also have about 1.5% buffer. You don't get near the buffer when you're doing the reverse max convexity, is the forward max convexity. And that's because in indexes, especially, puts are priced hella expensive relative to calls. We have the opposite phenomenon going on here. So we're fighting the skew. And that's why the results aren't as favorable. It still puts the odds in our favor a little bit, still a 72% chance of profit. But if the market goes up, you're going to lose. It's just like shorting the market. You're essentially short the market if you do this, but with a capped upside and with an income. You're kind of synthetically short the market. But this is a nice trade. There's way worse ways to express bullish intent. Now, what I do now is hit lock again, or link, or that's unlink. Let's see. Unlink. Okay, so the legs are linked. So now I'm going to try to double. That's not enough income to take her to dinner. I mean, 136 really isn't either. But just for an academic exercise, you got to figure out your own finances. That's 10% in like 3 days. And it protects your downside. If the SPY should drop 5%, you know, if this selling should pick up, boom, there you go. You have basically some free protection. If the selling doesn't pick up, enjoy your $132. Not enough to take her to dinner, but it's like getting paid to have a hedge on. Okay, so I'm going to save this trade, and we're going to call this hedge for end of week. All right, and this is a reverse max convexity spread. Okay. Save trade here. I'm going to share that real quick. Now, let me show you guys the same concept in NVIDIA. Let's go back to the editor. NVIDIA doesn't have earnings till next week, but a guy could do the same thing if they're thinking NVIDIA is too high. Maybe you have NVDY and you've been just killing it lately, but you want to make a little bit of money in case NVDA pulls back, something like that. I mean, here is one of many options. These are kind of complicated. Hit me up in the comments and I can walk you through it one-on-one. I'm not trying to throw you in the deep end of the pool, but this is a pretty sweet play. So we're going to do the reverse max convexity on NVIDIA. So we're going to start with a bear call spread on NVIDIA. Now, on individual stocks, calls usually are priced expensive relative to puts. So we might do better here than on the index play. So we're going to move this out as far as we can. As far as we dare. I mean, you move it out too far, you don't make any money. You move it out not far enough, you know, it gets busted. Your strike gets busted. That's not enough money. I mean, $24 on $576, that's not nearly enough money. $21 on $379. I mean, $35 on $465. Sometimes in some of these I try to do and it's just not worth it. We need to look for another strategy. This may be the case on this one. Okay, but 10% is within tolerance. So this is a 10% income and it gives you a 4% buffer on NVIDIA. Now, granted, NVIDIA can go up 4% in 2 seconds. So, I mean, it's basically probably nothing. But anyway, so what we're going to do now is we're going to hit link legs if it's not already selected. It's already selected. And we're going to do this 3 or 4 times. 4 times brings 136. 5 times brings 170. We'll do that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to add a put. Now, by default, it's going to give us 5 puts. We don't want to do that. This is also a ratio. This is also a ratio play. Okay, let me mess around with it just a little bit. I don't even know. Option strat's not even going to pay me anything. I don't think there's really much in it for me. I should probably push Seeking Alpha or something if I really wanted to make money. And they haven't even sent me money yet. I'm not worried about the money, but seriously, go get option strat. Don't worry about my affiliate link. I love Thinkorswim, and I love then Thinkorswim evolved into Tasty Trade. But this, on a visual basis, even goes beyond those. I mean, the latest update on Tasty Trade is really cool too. But it's a great tool. All right. So what we have here, we have $67. So this is why I call within tolerance. On this is more than 10%, and you have about a 4%. You know, or I'm sorry, and this is on NVIDIA, and you have about only about a 2% buffer before you start losing money because I had to scoot it closer. See, that's the way it works. Well, gosh darn it. $60 on, that's about a 15% income. And it's same buffer, about 2% buffer. Okay, I'm just going to lock that in. Safe trade. And these are just quick hedges for the end of the week. Oh, I should have. Okay, well, hang on. We're going to save trade. Back to editor. On the NVIDIA one, we're going to go here, select this, and switch the expiration to next week. That might make it more favorable, too. We can probably go out a little bit further if it's back to next week. It's going to mess up our math, so give me just a second. Because next week is the week that has earnings in it, so next week is hella volatile. That's why that trade wasn't working out that well. That explains a lot now. That would explain a lot. Okay. This is a good trade. So this is for next week. This is a 4% buffer. You make $350 on $1,600. That's almost 20%. Okay. But granted, you're short the market, and if it starts going up and NVIDIA can go up like that, you're going to lose $1,600. So think of this as if you could spend $1,600 basically shorting NVIDIA, but at the same time, you could squeeze out a freaking $350 income, that's yours to keep. All right, let's hit this one. Save trade. Reverse max. And that's a pre-earnings, a bearish pre-earnings trade. You know what you can do, and I do this a lot. Take this one off right before earnings and then go the other way or something. Hopefully it'll pull back in front of earnings. You'll take this one off for a profit, then put on a regular forward max or some other type of bullish strategy before earnings in it. Anyway, we'll see though. It depends on what the market's doing. That's why we take a look at the volatility, every day. And I'm always talking about open gaps and support and resistance. It's even if we aren't day traders, but we're still trying to time the purchases of our high yield ETFs and our option strategies to the extent we can. Stay out of the way of steamrollers. Anyway, okay, so the reverse max, we got both of them. I want to look at this one more time. This is a really good trade. I like this trade. I'll probably do this one in real life. It's costs $1,600 to put it on for one lot. Do it more times than that if you want more money. Do it 10 times. So it costs $16,000. You'll make $3,500 today income, not profit. It's not profit yet till Friday. And how it turns into profit. Watch, when I turn this profit loss line to contract value, look at contract value where the flat spot is. It goes to zero because this is a contract value where you neither pay anything or earn anything. You just get to keep the credit, which is really what you're going for because it's 15% in a week. I mean, come on. That's really the play. It's just accidentally if you happen into a market that starts selling off, maybe NVIDIA misses earnings and sells off 25%. I'm not calling for that, but if that eventuality were to happen, this trade would be worth $2,200. But even if that doesn't happen, you still get the $350. That's income, and it has about a 63% potential of turning in, or it's income for sure. It's income. It's risk premium, but it has about a 63% chance of turning into profit. We'll know on Friday. But I like the chance of it being able to turn into even more profit. Okay, so one more thing on the HIMS trade I showed you guys yesterday. That was a forward max convexity. Hedge for anyway, max convexity HIMS. All right, well the price is hanging in there. It's at 26.90 is the price. We just need this price stay above 26 or really just above 25.66. We just want HIMS to be able to keep it up a little bit longer. This has been quite a marathon for HIMS. Been impressive, really, one could say. But we'll see. We shall see. But this trade, we're just waiting on time to pass. That's the profit loss at expiration. The reason why it's a loss right now is because time hasn't passed. But let's see what will happen this time in a couple of days. Or this time tomorrow, the trade will be break even. This time Thursday, it'll be break even. And then by Friday, it'll be a profit. So that's HIMS. Now, one thing that can mess up the HIMS trade is if the market topped out and pulls back, right? You know, like that was the top for now, and it pulls back for a week or two, right? Put on the Russell trade, and then that Russell trade will make bank even if this trade ends up, even if this trade turns into a loser. You know, let's say the market turns around, this trade turns into a loser, and you lose $200 or whatever. That other trade will make money. The Russell or the index trade is also designed to be a hedge for the HIMS trade. And also the NVDA trade, even though it goes over into the following week, is a partial hedge. So anyway, I'm going to share those, and I'm going to put those up in case anyone wants to do those. Hit me up in the comments if you want to shoot the shit about options. All right. All right, guys. I didn't mention it this morning. I'm going to mention it now, though. Max's volatility metric that went bullish a few days ago, right after Trump won the election, is still bullish. Even though the market itself, even though the SPY is telling us, hey, I want to go down because I'm outside the Bollinger Bands going down, it's still above the 200-period moving average. So it probably means this is probably a buyable dip of somewhat of a buyable dip. The other thing is what I key off of. Also, if we would have changed this morning, what I talked about, what I key off of is this index. This is the VIX of the VIX, the volatility of the volatility. This, when you see this blow up, it means the professionals are hedging and market makers are hedging. This did tick up just a tiny bit, but basically it's straight sideways from yesterday. 80% chance today's pullback's a blip, and by tomorrow or the next day we'll be back at all-time highs. Just saying. But in the case that doesn't happen, that the Russell trade, the reverse max on the Russell, hedges that eventuality out of the equation. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you being here, and we'll keep an eye on this volatility indicator, but it's nowhere near switching. It needs to be above the 200-period moving average, out of the Bollinger Bands, and going this way. So, and right now the volatility is just basically showing that it looks like people aren't really worried. So it still looks like the bigger path of resistance is up, even though maybe we're going to pull back today, or we are pulling back now. Does that make sense? You have to be able to see things in a very fluid manner. The market's not two-dimensional, of course. It moves in 3 dimensions, and it moves in multiple time frames. But you just have to get one time frame down. I'm just trying to figure out that damn 30-minute time frame. That's why we always look at the 30-minute time frame. Everything's based on that. This, to me, is the perfect time frame for trading, 0 DTE and 1 DTE, 2 DTE, 3 DTE options, the kinds of trades I'm usually showing you guys. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you for being here. I really am going to let you go this time. All right. I will see you later.